creator and founder, Margaret, Floyd. She actually wrote this book, and her partner in crime. I'm James. Someone says you eat naked. What does that mean to you?
First thing in the morning, eat breakfast.
The ingredients were better for you and you don't feel guilty having them.
I always say look good naked, so try to give your body the best nutrition possible to look good naked.
Eating clean, no sauces, organic.
I eat naked every day.
I think cookie and it's all natural. There's no powders or magic pills or whatever. You know? It's real food. So thank you all for coming. Before we actually get into the cooking demo, we want to just share a little bit about why we do what we do. What is Eat Naked, right?
So I have been kind of obsessed with food my whole life. I've always loved it, and for many years I had a lot of battles with it. I actually had a really bad skin condition from the time I was about 13 years old until my mid-20s, like exactly the age you don't want to be having a bad skin condition. And I tried everything, and nothing worked. And I was eating horribly. I was just eating all sorts of processed foods. If you want to know my guilty secret pleasure, you have to buy my book. I confess it in the last chapter. And one day when I was in my mid-20s, I went to a very wise health professional who totally changed my diet and basically stripped all of the processed junk out of it, and I was just eating real whole food. Within 3 weeks, my skin condition that I had been dealing with since my early teens was completely gone, and now I'm not in my mid-20s anymore. But I have not had it come back once since. And it's simply just eating real whole food. I believe there's a lot of mixed and confusing messages out there about diet. You know, I can give you the arguments for or against just about everything out there. But I think that the most important thing is to eat, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're an omnivore, whether you want to eat macrobiotic, you know, whatever it is, as long as you're eating real whole food, that is absolutely the most important thing. So that's what we're going to talk to you about today, and that's what we're going to be demonstrating.
We'll get right into our first recipe, which is a take on couscous. Couscous, everyone, is a pasta. So we're going to show you how to make a couscous salad without any pasta.
So basically, instead of the grain, we use our secret weapon ingredient, which not very many people guess when they first taste it, cauliflower. Who knew, right? Who knew cauliflower could taste good?
Cauliflower. So what you do with the cauliflower is, you just saw I cut off the leaves on the bottom to put it in the food processor. It is literally that simple. It's a raw item. Now, not everything in Margaret's book is raw. A lot of people sometimes think that eat naked means eating raw. What eating naked is just taking away anything that's processed, taking away the additives, getting rid of those items that we keep buying that have labels that are as long as my arm, and we don't understand what they say. We don't understand what they mean. If we don't understand it, our body certainly doesn't understand it, right?
So one of the nice things, as he mentioned, this recipe is raw, and often when we cook food, we're actually killing it and taking away a lot of the nutritional value. Now, I do eat cooked foods. I'm not just 100% raw, but I think wherever we can, if we can sneak in more foods that's just the food itself, you know. Cutting this up, some of you might have experienced eating cauliflower raw can sometimes give a little bit of like a bit of bellyache. If you don't have a rock and solid digestive system, just the act of cutting it so finely actually breaks it down enough so that you can digest it, but not so much that you're losing the nutritional value from it. So this little piece of equipment here right now, this food processor, if you don't have one, get one. It's like the thing that makes cooking fast. I mean, to try to do this by hand, I don't even want to go into thinking what that would take. But look, it took like, you know, a few seconds, and now you have basically the main ingredient for your couscous. Now this is a recipe that we love to bring to potlucks because nobody will guess it. We kind of make it like the party trick. Like, who can guess what the fake couscous is? And so far, well, at parties, nobody's guessed it. I have to say, here, there have been 2 or 3 people who were able to guess right away that it's couscous. That's kind of unusual. This is obviously a well-educated crowd.
Some of the things we heard today was like jicama. Someone said cilantro. I don't totally know what that meant. But yeah, it's really, many of you, if you haven't tasted it, after we're done, go over to the table and taste it because you'll be amazed. You're eating vegetables and it's good. And I've had little kids walk away going, oh, I like this, you know. We have, even in the book, we have a recipe for kale chips. If anyone is addicted to chips and salsa, I'm going to raise my hand because I kind of am, right? Kale chips will replace the tortilla chips, and they're good for you. And they're amazing. Over there, Dr. Mike, he's the tall guy over there. He loves kale chips. So we have our cauliflower. Now at this point, I'm literally just putting in everything else I would put in couscous. We have olive oil, we have salt and pepper. I could put in some bell pepper. I would squeeze lemon. That's it. That's literally all we're doing.
Super simple, and not a thing in there is processed. Nothing. And one of the really nice things about this recipe is, one of the reasons we eat carbs and starches like that is it's kind of comforting, right? You know, like we have this food is comforting, and to use it as comfort is not necessarily a bad thing, but we just don't want to do that too much. And of course, as much as we can to get away from that processed stuff, the taste of this, for those of you who tasted it, would you say it tastes kind of like that comfort food? Yeah, it does. Honestly, you don't realize you're eating vegetables, which is kind of cool for some people, especially for kids. It's actually one of those things you can sneak this in. You can totally sneak this in.
So, any questions on the cauliflower couscous? The recipe is in our book. We're about to show you an alternative for tortillas.